we have seen that there are a lot of revolution and evolution has happened in terms of retail industry also, and I would like to thank Mr. Kishore Bayani, Future Group Limited, Lifestyles, and Spencer's, and of course there are many other entrants in the Indian market to give a different experience of shopping or purchasing to the Indian customer. Now, when we say retailing, so in terms of business, retailing has got two challenges. One is the customer experience with the product, and the second is the customer experience with the showroom. Now, with this discussion, I would like to connect your academics regarding the retail with the practicality or the application of those concepts into the market. So, to overcome or to face those two challenges, what are the outer world is doing, that I would like to emphasize upon. As very correctly mentioned by Mr. Ravi Gupta, I was really impressed with that. Whatever happens in West, we follow that. So I will go on the same context, on the same line. I would like to quote you one example with the help of which you people will be able to understand what actually customer is looking for, or what actually the service provider or the suppliers are looking for when it comes to retail. So I'll take you to the Europe. The country name is Sweden, and the name of the company is IKEA, IKEA. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but they are the largest furniture retailer in the world. They have got 301 showrooms across the globe, with no showrooms in India, and the size of the company, the size of the group can be assessed like, to quote you one example, they purchase material worth 5,000 crore rupees, and the product is only wall hangings from India, handicraft. So the size of the company or the size of the store is like that, and geographically or on other context, infrastructure wise, if you want to understand, their one store is not less than 2 lakh square feet. So IKEA, who would be the person on this mother planet will believe that there can be a possibility of holding up a pajama party in a showroom? IKEA does it. IKEA, for their customer, they act as an agony aunt. Say for example, in an instance in Moscow, they conducted a survey and they spoke to close to 1,000 females, and they asked a simple question: what complaints do they have with their husbands? And the answer, the most common answer was that their respective husbands, they don't contribute in household works. They don't contribute in, babysitting and all those kind of activities which a female is supposed to, carry out. So, taking the cue from this, they did a activity. They called 50,000 husbands with the kids to the store to have some outing time, and after 1 week, they called the mothers, the respective mothers also, and at the end of the activity, it was found that both the groups were very happy and very satisfied and very delighted. And in terms of innovation, like in the previous panel, so this was one of the examples that what companies are doing to attract or invite people to their stores, as far as retail is concerned, to their showrooms. And in the previous panel, like they were talking about the brand. So brand, actually it requires innovations also. Like Dalda, today it has been a talk of the town. So on the same line, innovation, it requires innovation. So in case of IKEA, as an example, again, unbelievable practice which has been taken up by IKEA as a company. They would take the photographs of the families, customize it on the front page of the catalogs and give it to them. And the number of copies is nothing less than 5 lakhs. They spend so much money on this activity just to create the bond, just to force the people, just to motivate the people to come to their store again and again. In India, what we have seen in the same context, that there has been the evolution, but not to that extent what it should have been as far as furniture industry is concerned. Otherwise, in terms of apparels and grocery, we have seen that in the past 15 to 20 years, there has been a lot of evolution. So the experience, a customer will carry an experience before he enters our showroom, and after he exits our showroom, there will be another experience. So it is imperative for a retailer to give them that kind of experiential retail marketing experience, so as to he should feel when I was entering into the showroom, my experience was different. Like I used to go to a normal market, go to a grocery store or the apparel store, buy my clothes, come back, and then fine, life goes on. And when he is entering into our store, and the change in the experience should be translated into the change in consumer behavior also. Now this is how we are trying to connect the three things: brand and the retail experience and the consumer behavior. So at the, in context of India, we have seen a lot of changes in consumer behavior as far as the purchase is concerned. So the evolution has been welcomed by the Indian customer, and it will be, in the furniture industry. It may happen little late because I come from an industry which is more than 1 lakh crore per annum, and 85% of that business is unorganized. Number two. And then, but still, the companies like Durian, Godrej, Featherlight, Nilkamal, of course. Nilkamal, we have set up 21 showrooms, big format showrooms in the country. One is very quite near to you in Vaishali, bang opposite to Vaishali metro station. We call it At Home. So, theoretically, academically, if you want to understand experience retail, the topic which is given to our panel is experiential retail environment, new model shaking up the retail industry. Yes, of course, it will happen because today the kind of information channels we have, like previous panel was also discussing. I don't remember the name of that gentleman, but he mentioned a customer writing 2 lines against you on Facebook or any social media, and it becomes viral, and in minutes or maybe in seconds it goes to everybody. The same thing will happen, it will keep on happening. The companies, the manufacturers or the producers or the service provider will have to be very careful about giving a world-class atmosphere, world-class environment to its customer base, so as to motivate them to buy them again and again. To summarize this, the entire discussion, what I would like to mention is, the corporate world is expanding. The new companies are entering into the country, maybe any product or service category. So everybody is looking, and the entire world is looking at this country. We contain a lot of potential for the outer world. I don't know to what extent our own Indian companies will be able to have been able to understand this potential, but the outer world has really experienced it. They have really anticipated it, and the retail chains which are being set up in this country is phenomenal. And in the last, wait for the explosion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Raya. May I request speaking?
A very good afternoon to each one of you. Fortunately, I'm an alumna of Jaipur Institute of Management, 1998-2000. So it feels so good to address this audience, and feels all the more good that with almost a little more than 16 years of work experience, I've gathered so much to share with you all. Although the time that we have is pretty limited, but I can understand the audience, the students who are here. They are all aspirational. They are looking for the next challenge in the corporate world and looking out for the new experiences. So just to give you a hands-on experience of how the retail works these days. Considering all the eminent panelists who are there with me, I'm nowhere close to them in terms of experience, but I come from a different background in terms of I handle fashion, makeup, skincare, apparel, and come from a background of energy drinks and worked partly with the media houses. So ultimately, we all boil down to just one thing, which is customer satisfaction. So it can be we can talk about good branding, PM, everything. But ultimately, when the consumer is not happy, the consumer is not satisfied, it all boils down to that. And listening to all the shares that we have since morning, the e-com which is booming, the social media, the Twitter, the Insta. One reaction of a customer on Instagram or a Facebook shakes up the entire organization. So how well you manage these consumers, how well you satisfy them, how well you interact with them, establishes the organization, and that's how the word of mouth happens in the media these days, and also in all the different platforms. Now, if I look at the panel discussion that we have today is on experiential retail environment. In spite of all the big branding that we do, in spite of all the TV ads, the electronic ads, the print ads that we do, one person who is the real brand ambassador of the brand are the face of the brands who stand at the store. These are the stars who actually talk the brand to the consumers. So we decide many things in the boardrooms. We talk about, we all have all those boardroom discussions. But does these boardroom discussions reach the staffs in the right manner? So it becomes like Chinese whisper in many cases. We have some strategy, we decide everything. But is that strategy, that idea, that communication is transferred to the end consumer? So if that entire 360-degree integration is done in the right way, it's only then the brand succeeds. So the Body Shop, I work for Body Shop. So we are spread over in 150 stores, retail stores in 24 states and 40 cities. And we have got the stores in Siliguri to Coimbatore to Kochi, all in diverse locations. So teaching the same language of communication to stores, teaching the same way how to interact, how to address a consumer, how to follow the steps of consumer satisfaction, how to focus on the customer behavior, how to find out what kind of customer he or she is, and tweak the need, tweak the style of interacting with that consumer is what we need to teach them all about. So this entire gamut of work, which involves a consistency in addressing these small gaps and small areas, is what needs a very strong, very detailed discussion, detailed training to all these people. And we do this entire forwarding of these communications through our classroom sessions, through phone calls, through Skype and webinar training. So very important is how you reach these staffs in all those remote locations who are actually your real brand ambassadors. And also if I see, considering that also we have got an omni-channel brand. So most of the brands in the retail industry, they are present online, they are present, some of the brands are at home, like Avon and Oriflame, and we have offline stores. And so the customer care part of it, which all these channels finally come down to the, the customer care. So customer care is a department which each functional is not a department in itself. It's a role that every person has to follow. It's a role that it's a thing that every employee has to talk about it. It's a word of mouth, which word of mouth about the brand that each person in the organization talks about, and that's how the company company is known in the fraternity and in the industry. And I think we had a lot of discussions over how the brand how the brand functions, and ultimately I would say that it's all in our hands. It's all in our hands to make the customer believe in us, to make the customers love a brand, and be a part of the game. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So, we had a discussion, we have a few points. Before we move towards conclusion, we can take a few questions because time is also running out. We have 10-15 minutes. We can take 2-3 questions.
My name is Jasmine Baldwin. I'm a life coach, and I'm interested in how to give your clients experiences. Because everybody talks about this, about communication skills and so forth. So how you take care of the employees or the training of your employees. And the second question is how you make a big difference in experiences for your customers.
The first question that I put across, how do you take care of an employee, you know? As I've always spoken, you know, it is very important that first we need to be happy, then only, I need to be first happy, then only I can keep others happy. So in that case, it is very important for the organization, what kind of investment the organization has done on me. Because based on this competitive world, I also need to be competitive to compete in this world. So in that case, it's the duty of the organization how to, you know, make the person, make the employee competent so that he or she has got a certain skill to take the organization to one step ahead or what is being expected in the competition.
And how you do that? How
So
to
there are
bring your
various-
vision there and, you know, take it further.
So there are various kind of programs. One is we talk about talent management. How do you manage the talent? How do you identify the right resources? If there are some people who are not even performing, how do you make them perform, become a performer? Then we have something called, you know, employee experience. That also matters a lot. When I have a good experience, I always feel to stick around. So talent management, it's a combination of the entire gamut, which it's the entire, you know, process policies of the company, which actually, you know, make the person to take one step ahead, or that will help the company to go farther. I hope that satisfies your question.
Finance side. Okay, yeah, so I'll take on the second part of your question actually. So which is all about giving the customer an experience. Now, customer experience is ultimately the product. That's my personal view. End of the day, the customer, if he buys onto your product, which is the hero, and then the peripheral part of it is the service. So if the product is not right, whatever good service you do, the customer will never come back. So the product has to be right, and if you top it up with the right kind of service, service can be anything. You know, different people have different sets of expectations from a service. And I'll try to give you an example from a different side. So when you try to fly an Air India, and if the air hostess doesn't smile at you, you're happy with it. But if you fly a jet, and if the air hostess doesn't smile, then you're kind of offended. The same person having two different expectations. It's all about the customer and the kind of expectations that the customer sets in, which gets him to have the right kind of experience. Number of times, you know, in the Indian scenario that we have seen, if you are selling a good product at a discount with a third-rate experience, the customer still comes back because it is price dominated. A lot of times when we sell products, and I'm talking specifically for lifestyle stores, when we are selling the same product at full price, the full price season, with a great customer experience, the customer is also coming back because he's interested in that experience. The experience ultimately is not the overall environment, but it is, the hero is the product. The peripherals is how the product is placed, the location of the store, the billing, everything makes a difference, but ultimately it is the product. That's the way I see it.
Just one question in between. From your experience and from your belief, where you start with making differences of experiences and so forth, what is the source, or where's the source from your consideration?
Where's the spot?
Where's the source? Where does it start to make some experiences as a customer in your shop or store?
Okay, the first part of the source is actually the end, is what is it that you really stand for as a company, so if you stand for a company where you are willing to give the customer a basic set of service, you define your strategy to say this is the service that I want to give to the customer. For example, I mentioned as part of my small speech about meet, feed, direct. That's the mantra that we follow.